Dude, this champion right here costs about $500, man, which is crazy as hell. And this champion right here, did you know, is one of the most legendary skill book requiring champions in all of Raid, requiring 16 legendary books total, even requiring books for her passive skill to get her fully booked. Her name is Manaya, and she is just one of the most expensive legendary champions to book up that we're going to be covering in this video of the most expensive legendary champions that you can possibly try and build out in Raid Shadow Legends. And we're going to be talking most importantly about whether or not these champions are worth building out. And bro, we have to start with Seisha, the most controversial champ of all. It's right after I remind y'all that we've got the best beginner promo link in the world, so if you're looking to start off a new Raid Shadow Legends account, man, to hell with all these champions, you're looking for a clean start in Raid, then use my beginner promo link that's down below. The top of the video description box, man, just click on that link on your laptop or on your PC, use that link to create a new account, man, to get your hands on all of the freebies that you see on screen beside me right now. You can also use beginner promo code Demon Slayer on day 1 of that new account to get your hands on Thorlin Foulbeard, absolute monster of a dwarf damage dealer, and of course the currently ongoing, at least, fusion champion. So how do we calculate that Seisha the Chard is worth about $500, at least according to Plarium, okay? Not my words, alright? Don't put this on me, okay? So you get Seisha the Chard by farming up Plarium points in the Plarium points program, right? You grab your Seisha fragments as you go. You can technically save these up for free over time if you're willing to wait about like 9 years or something to get Seisha. And you do at least earn a whole bunch of other rewards along the way as well, but the main way of getting Plarium points is by spending in this game. You need 25,000 points total to get the final 20 fragments required for Seisha. Now, the most efficient way to get Plarium points is just to buy them outright. 2,500 points, 50 quid or $50, I think, also a pop. There you go, that's how we get the total of that 500 price tag. Ridiculous as hell. This is a champion for the whales only, needless to say. I've got it shamefully on my main account. Is she actually worth a damn? So Seisha was eventually buffed, actually she got like terrible reviews in many areas of the game, just because of how hard she was to get. She was always a decent legendary, but she was not worth the reward that, well, for the cost. So she's got a triple hit at A1 with each hit having a chance of increasing the duration of an HP burn debuff on the target by a 10, and also has a 65% chance booked of decreasing the duration of a random buff on the target by 110. Pretty solid. She's got an AoE HP burn on a 310 on the A2. That's kind of all it does. It just plays the HP burn debuff as well, so it can't weak hit with this skill, so that's actually okay as well. It's fine. And then on the A3 410 cooldown, attack all enemies 100% chance of placing decreased speed. If the target is under HP burn, also has a chance of placing Hex debuff as well. So not a bad Hydra HP burner. Oh, on her passive, she also brings a bunch of healing as well whenever she's attacked by an enemy under any HP burn debuff as well, healing your entire team by 10% of the damage that she receives, which is pretty cool. But let's be real, man. Is she really any better than most of the other generic sort of AoE HP burners? Is she that big of an upgrade? Is she worth that price tag for the whales who are spending that amount of cash on this game? For me, probably not. But at the same time, I don't really want her to be, man. I think it's a little bit crazy that she's a reward for just outright spending over time in the game in the first place. It feels a little bit crazy. And if she was just like one of the most busted champions in the game, like SS tier, you know? I don't know, dude. It would just feel a little bit rotten. It would feel a little bit moldy, you know? So Seisha the Chard, if you do happen to get Seisha the Chard and you're one of those, yeah, she's worth building, but going out of your way to get her? Probably not. Next up, man, the most expensive legendary champions in the game to book on up. I'm not going to be covering all of them exactly, but we've got a good batch here that is well worth talking about, man. One of them is Gomlock Skyhide. This orc right here requires 15 legendary skill books to fully book on up. I believe like the average for legendaries is like 11 or 12 books or something. 15 is definitely on the high end, and so you're looking for a higher quality legendary champion than usual to sort of justify putting those books into. Gomlock, as his reviews might suggest, is not one of those guys, man. That's not to say that you should just never build the guy. I actually happen to think that he's quite a bit underrated, even though he is drastically outperformed by other legendaries that do similar jobs to him. So, you know, I'm going to shine a spotlight on his A3 straight away. I think it's the most interesting part of his kit. 410 cooldown, fully booked, double hitter, attack all enemies. Each hit has a chance of placing a decreased defense debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, and the first hit has a chance of decreasing enemy 10 meter by 10%. Very, very solid. Second hit on each target. Also has a 100% chance of placing weaken debuff for 2 turns if this champion has full HP. Now, there's some problems with this skill. The full HP thing makes it so that Gomlock can be unreliable into things like Hydra and Chimera if you're using him as your decreased defense and weaken option. Oftentimes, you might just not get the weaken off. It's also a 4-turn cooldown, which compared to other legendary skills that place decreased defense weaken is 1 turn longer. And it's also got the problem of being an attack all enemies skill, meaning because he's force affinity, he could just weak hit with that A3 into spirit affinity enemies and fail to land any debuffs at all. So he's definitely got some weaknesses. One of the skills that we can compare Gomlock's A3 to is Dracomoph's A3 that places weakened decreased defense, places the debuffs, meaning Dracomorph can't weak hit, and his is bookable down to a 3-turn cooldown instead. And so Dracomorph just wins out in this duel. And then eventually, though it is going to take you quite some time to get Lydia on your account, you will eventually get Lydia, and her A2 just blows Gomlock's out of the water, man. Not only is it a 3-turn cooldown, not only is she void affinity, so she can't weak hit against all enemies, so it being an attack all enemy skill is actually pretty good, but she brings decreased defense, weaken debuff for 2-turn durations, and buffs for strengthen and increase speed on all of your allies as well for a couple of turns, which frankly makes Gomlock's A3 look like a joke in comparison. However, that being said, as a progression legendary, Gomlock is actually good. Okay, he's actually pretty good if you got the legendary books to spare. I say that because this A3 is still very, very solid into wave content. It's still very, very solid into the likes of Darkfare because he brings some 10-meter control on this A3 as well as placing decreased defense weaken. It's going to make it very, very easy to blast your way through Darkfare with this guy. And not only that, but on his A2 as well, bookable down to a 2-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy, 100% chance of stealing 50% of the target's max 10-meter as well as stealing their buffs from the target as well. And so as far as Darkfare goes and as far as Finite goes, he can kind of be one of your solo or just maybe part of like a duo of 10-meter controllers and get the job done for you on your account. And so is he actually worth the 15 skill bucks that he requires to get Gomlock Skyhide fully booked? Well, it very, very much depends. I mean, frankly, if you're a spender and you got the legendary books to spare, I'd say fair enough. If you pull him early, you can use him for progression, and that's great. Otherwise, if you pull him early, I mean, if you can replace your Gomlock with a War Maiden to bring decreased defense, you know, into Darkfare. She's also like a Force Affinity champion. She's campaign farmable rare. And then you can just bring like an Armager or get like an Allure or any other 10-meter controller that you either don't have to book at all in the case of Allure, or that's just way, way easier to build. And surely you would rather build those champions instead of committing the 15 legendary bucks to a champion that is eventually going to drop off on your account. I will say though, one final time, I do believe that he is quite underrated, to be fair. Next up, man, also costing 15 legendary tomes to fully book, we have the Dwarf Nuka Herndig. Now, what does Herndig do, man? Attacks one enemy, grants an extra turn and decreases the cooldown of Stasis Strike by 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. So if he kills an enemy with his A1, he resets the cooldown of his 4-turn cooldown booked A3. So 4-turn cooldown booked on this A3. We'll skip to that next. Attacks when enemy fully depletes the target's 10-meter, which is lovely. Will also attack all enemies if the first attack is critical, which it will always be if you built your Herndig correctly. This AoE attack has a 100% chance booked to placing Weaken for 2 turns. Will also place HP burn debuff for 2 turns after the attack on enemies whose 10 meters are below 30%. And so, extra 10 mechanic A1, heavy hitter A3 that should always become an AoE skill with an AoE weaken attached to this as well. Very, very nice. And then on the A2, 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, 100% chance booked replacing decreased defense and decreased accuracy debuff for 2 turns. On a 3-turn cooldown, that's just saucy. I tell you what, man, I think that Herndig is well worth the 15 legendary books, man. If you want to build this guy out, even just for hard mode Dwarf Faction Wars, I see you using this guy for a long, long time. I'm trying to click on his aura skill, ally attack in arena battles by 35%. Okay, I thought this was like a aura in all battles, but okay, it's arena only. As you can see, he's actually got pretty decent reviews on him as well. It's kind of funny, man, but I feel like Herndig is basically Gomlock, but on steroids and actually just like real damage with just lower cooldown skills with just more impact overall, man. Because of the 10-meter depletion and the amount of AoE damage that he's going to be pumping out as well, and the extra 10 mechanics also, just makes it so that he's going to be a monster for clearing waves. He's going to be very, very good into the likes of Ice Golem as well, depleting 10-meter, placing HP burn debuff against the boss and potentially its minions as well. He's going to be very, very solid there. He's, of course, great into Darkfare with the big AoE damage, decreased defense debuffs, and again, that 10-meter depletion. just an actual solid champion who will also scale up, by the way, into hard mode Ice Golem as well. So you're going to have some good longevity on the likes of Herndig as well. I think that, yeah, Herndig is one of those guys who is worth the 15 legendary books. Next up, man, it's Manaya. We touched on her towards the start of the video as well. All-purpose kind of healer, block debuffs champion as well on her A3. She takes 16 legendary skill books. Her aura is ally speed in all battles by 19%, which isn't super remarkable for a legendary champion, given that Haikatun, you know, also brings in 19% aura. Is she worth the 16 bucks, man? So I think that Manaya's biggest issue is that she's pretty good sort of everywhere in all of the basic content, basic dungeons, stuff like that, but she sort of lacks the tools in order to really excel in either of the clan bosses, really. I guess she's okay in Chimera, like the third clan boss, but okay, so she brings an attack on enemy A1, plays continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. That's pretty good into Chimera, where the Viper form can't steal the continuous heal buffs, so that's quite good. She brings an attack on enemy A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy, heal this champion and the ally with the lowest HP by 30% of Manaya's max HP, has a 100% chance of placing a heal reduction debuff and a leech debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. So just great general healing there as well from the leech debuff, a little bit of utility from the heal reduction. Not bad for early spider progression and stuff like that as well, at least the heal reduction. And then on the A3 4-turn cooldown, heals all allies by 40% of their max HP, plays a block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also pretty good into spider as well if you're going to be taking some of those poison hits as you progress on through spider. If a champion is fully healed by the skill, also plays a shield buff on them for 2 turns equal to 25% of that champ's HP, bookable to a full turn. Her passive also takes a couple bucks as well. Fill the teammate of allies by 20% and heal them by 20% of this champion's max HP when this champion is killed. Now, the thing about this is that honestly, you can sort of do without the books in this. Like, your Manaya shouldn't be dying. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of do without the books in this passive. You just outright don't want the books to go into the A1. And so 6 out of the 16 legendary books that you could put into Manaya have a chance of sort of bombing a little bit. And all for a champion that's okay. Like, she's fine, you know, she can do the job as like the chief healer, I guess, on your account. But at the end of the day, man, if you can just build something like a where the hell is Rector? If you can just build like a Rector Draft as like one of your epic champion healers, only going to take epic books, takes a lot less epic books at that as well, and brings you know, similar things, continuous heal, a decreased attack, actually brings a revive in the Rector's kit, and the Rector also brings perfect veil buffs as well. So the Rector is actually going to be a very, very good healer and support champion into Hydra as well, and so it's going to have that longevity that you're looking for on a champ. I just feel like epic books into Rector are worth so much more than legendary books into Manaya. And look, man, while I gotta throw this disclaimer in there at some point in this video, everyone's account is different. Everybody needs different tools at different times in their account. And champion priority and prioritizing where you put your books can change a lot depending on what you have available and what you pull from shards and stuff like that, right? Maybe you just don't have a bloody Rector, okay? And maybe you're 8 months into your account, you've got no shards left, and you're gonna be stuck with Manaya as your only healer for a long, long time, and you're just sitting on 16 legendary books during a personal reward CVC. Okay, book the Manaya, goddammit. But for me at least, I would overall, on average, not recommend booking the Manaya. Personally, that's just my take. Next up, men, before we get into the final 2 big ones that honestly blew my mind as to how many skill books that they require, we have Cillian the Lucky, who again requires 15 legendary books to fully book on up. And frankly, I think his reviews are a little bit harsh against 1 or 2 areas of the game. Besides that, I think they're kind of on point, man. This guy takes a hell of a lot of books, dude. He's got a really interesting passive, man. He's got a double hit at A1, first of all. Each hit have a chance of placing decreased speed, and also has a, 50% chance booked of stealing 30% of the target's current 10 meter. That's like really bloody good as an AO1 into normal mode Fire Knight, man. Like really quite excellent. The issue is that the rest of his kit is abysmal into normal mode Fire Knight. Okay, the A1's great. It's also pretty good into Chimera as well, to be honest. Double hit at A1 with chance of placing decreased speed. You know, that's like a Stagnite level A1. Pretty good. It's shame he's legendary and Stagnite's an epic, but you know, Cillian the Lucky also has an attack all enemies on his A2. 410 cooldown for some odd reason, because the only thing it does is place block active skills. Nothing else, okay? Again, decent for use into Chimera. Not bad, man. It's like a very, very good debuff to bring into Viper. It would be pretty good against wave content as well if it wasn't a 4-turn cooldown. It being a 4-turn cooldown makes it so that, well, just, yeah, whatever. It's not very good. I'd go as far as saying this should 100% definitely be a 3-turn cooldown skill, or it should place like block active skills and weaken or something, you know what I mean? Like, it should have some extra spice to it if it's going to be on a 4-turn. Alas, it does not. And then on the A3, he brings yet more 10 meter control or a stun if you can land stun against enemies, right? 3-turn cooldown, attacks one enemy, 100% chance of placing stun, and stealing 50% of the target's current 10 meter. Reset the cooldown of this skill if the target is killed. Thing is, he already brings 10 meter steal on the A1. You could just have him spam that against the likes of Finite. You know, it's weird that the A3 and the A1 kind of do very, very similar things against bosses, or at least, I guess, against Finite. This A3, alas, is useless against Chimera, which really damages him, right? Because then he's only bringing block active skills for Viper form, and then a spammable decreased speed. That's it. Like, Cillian the Lucky is kind of outperformed. Well, not just kind of outperformed, it's outright outperformed and outshone for me into Chimera Clan Boss by Stag Knight, literally, who brings the same A1. He doesn't bring the 10 meter steal, but you don't need it against Chimera, of course. Then he brings decreased defense, decreased attack on a 3-turn, 100% land rate, dude. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, Stag Knight is just a pretty good epic champion to bring into the likes of Chimera, and is very, very good into many other areas of the game as well. Whereas Cillian, I don't know, dude. The guy just needs a buff. I would not recommend booking this champion. Second to last man on this list, we've got Iron Brago, dude. This is another... God, look at the texture on his chainmail, dude. Oh my god, dude. It's just painted paper chainmail, bro. Oh my... Look at his little face as well. Okay, man. Iron Brago, okay, of the Orcs faction, defense-based legendary. Again, 16 legendary books to book this guy up. By the way, there's a legendary champion in this game that takes 18 legendary books to fully book. That's gonna be the next champion that we cover, man. But for now, Brago, another 16 book legendary, just gobbles these books up like crazy. Is he worth a damn? So his A1 attacks one enemy, 30% chance booked of decreasing the duration of all buffs by 110. It's an okay A1. I kind of feel like this could be 100% land rate, to be honest, or at least be a double hitter, you know what I'm saying? Either way, on the A2, bookable down to a 3-turn cooldown, we've got an increased defense buff on all allies for 3 turns, okay. Then attack one enemy, 100% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn, has a 100% chance of placing a stun debuff for 2 turns instead if the target is under 2 or more buffs. So, very, very reliable stun. Good stuff. Increased defense, always welcome. Not bad. Attack all enemies on the A3 as well. Bookable down to a 3-turn cooldown. 75% chance booked of placing provoke debuff for 1 turn. Why is it not 100%? I'm sick of this. I've had enough, right? Why are the legendary champions in this game, even epic champions, okay, with a 3 or a 4-turn cooldown, AoE provoke, it should be 100% land rate, man. Like, I'm sorry, but as long as Nalhorn exists in this game and has a 3-turn cooldown AoE provoke, that cannot be just, it just places provoke on all enemies, and it's 100% land, dude. How can we possibly have a legendary that doesn't have 100% land provoke, man? Now, it does also place a decreased attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns if Iron Brago is under his increased defense buff. So he does bring that buff, and so that's nice. It's 75% chance to land the decreased attack as well. Again, I still feel it should just be 100%. I will say that Brago is actually pretty good as like an early game clan boss champion. Hypothetically, you can bring him in for like the decreased attack and for the increased defense, and also his passive, which increased the defense of all allies by 10% of Brago's defense, which is a very, very lovely passive, man. Not one to be slept on. Very, very nice into the likes of Demon Lord. Pretty good into the likes of Ice Golem as well, given that he's able to increase defense and stun the boss's minions, as well as, at least most of the time, place decreased attack against the Ice Golem boss as well. So, pretty good into Ice Golem, not bad into Clan Boss. Honestly, pretty good into Faction Wars as well. Increased defense, AoE provokes, all that good control. Not a bad champion overall. Not worth 16 bucks. Not for me. I struggle to imagine an account where I'd actually recommend fully booking up an Iron Brago. He's just a little bit too niche. If he did have a 100% land rate on the provoke and on the decreased attack when fully booked, you know what? I think I'd go ahead and pull the trigger. I'd actually go ahead and say, you know what, man, I can recommend this guy under very specific circumstances if you're really needing these specific tools in certain areas of the game. Especially if you also got like the double hitter A1 as well. But as he stands right now, Iron Brago would be a no for me in general. Again, there are always exceptions. Now, to get to the most book-hungry legendary champion in this game, it is a high elf, and her name is Pixniel. Is she the highest and most demanding legendary book reader in this entire game, man. Look at the books on the A1, and they all just give damage, bro. What are we talking about with this A1 Plarium? Now, A2 only requires a couple of bucks, man. Okay, that's cool, man. And then the A3 just ramps it up again, goes absolutely crazy. And this is just a chance to place freeze as well. And this A3 is only bookable down to a 4-turn cooldown, by the way, which is just mental. Have you ever heard of a champion called Achak the Wenderin? Yeah, he's an epic champion that brings a 90 or 95% chance to place freeze when you fully book up one of his skills. He takes a lot of bucks as well, but he's a bloody epic, and he can book it down to a 3-turn cooldown. So what the hell is Pixniel doing with a 4-turn cooldown on this skill? And she also requires 3 books to finish off her passive as well. 18 skill books for this, man. Yeah, people are not big fans of poor Pixniel. Let me try and play devil's advocate real quick. So A1 is an attack when enemy plays Perfect Veil on the ally with the lowest HP. Her A2 is an increased defense buff and continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Then attack all enemies that are under freeze debuffs. Place a weaken debuff for 2 turns on enemies that are under freeze debuffs. That part sucks, because that makes it so that you can only you can't freeze bosses, obviously, and so you're not getting the weaken debuff where it's most useful, which is against bosses. So that really blows. Still, heals, increased defense, not bad, at least, into the likes of Ice Golem, where you want to tank up just a little bit. She brings an attack all enemies, of course, chance of placing freeze that we've already touched on. This is, like, literally only good against waves. I guess it's technically okay if you can, like, freeze the Ice Golem's minions as well, freeze other minions in the game. Nether Spider, that kind of thing, maybe. Again, it being a 4-turn cooldown is a bit of a joke. And then as for the passive, she is immune to freeze debuffs, fill her 10 meter by 25% every time an ally receives a freeze debuff. So, okay, man. Frost Spider, Ice Golem, you know, not bad. Active effect, which is bookable down to a 2-turn cooldown. At the end of each enemy or ally turn, remove all freeze debuffs from all allies. If there are multiple champions on the team with the skill, only one will blah, 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 blah. Okay. So basically, as long as Pixniel is alive, your entire team is just freeze immune. Like, that's it. That's all you've got to take away from this, you know. So, again, Ice Golem, Frost Spider, actually a very, very nice champion to bring along, mostly for quality of life. There are other ways that you can deal with those freeze debuffs, of course, block debuffs, buffs, and that kind of thing. But, of course, it's not also complete freeze debuff immunity, really. I'm exaggerating a little bit, trying to play devil's advocate here. It being on that 2-turn cooldown is a bit of a problem, as this is the active effect of her passive, remember. So, it's not even that good for that, man. I don't know, don't book Pixniel. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't think we need to go to this champion anymore. I think that she's just a champion that you would just never book under any circumstances. I mean, even into the likes of Frost Spider in Doom Tower, it's like, okay, it's nice to be able to like remove the freeze debuffs and stuff like that, and the healing and stuff is all great. That's all lovely. I feel you could bring any generic healer into Frost Spider. Yes, the run might take a while longer till you finally place like an HP burn against the Frost Spider and take care of it that way. The run's gonna take longer, but who cares, man? You're not out there trying to farm Frost Spider, you know? There are other higher priority Doom Tower bosses for you to be farming. So you're really gonna blow 16 legendary books, 7 of which, actually 6 of which, could go into a completely pointless A1? I don't know, bro. I think that this champion is irredeemably bad, and I have no idea why Raid are not buffing this champion. Now, finally, on our list of just the most expensive and valuable champions in Raid, I kind of hate to do this, man. I really do. But at the same time, there's something to be said about the champions that are just no longer obtainable in this game. The likes of Archer Queen, who I was lucky enough to get on my main account when I'd only been playing the game for like 2 or 3 months. You know, I was a total noob. I randomly won my champ training tournament. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was so brand new to the game. I didn't even know how good this champion was, man. I didn't know that she was an absolute beast. Like, one of the best Hydra champions in the game, literally. And now every time I do like an account showcase video, I'm doing like a Hydra team showcase video, I like try not to use my Archer Queen in the showcase because I feel guilty, man. I feel guilty. People think that I'm like flexing with my Archer Queen. I'm like, oh man. And so what champion could be on this list that is possibly more expensive than a champion that literally is inaccessible in the game anymore? You know what I'm saying? The same goes for even the other Monster Hunter exclusive champs, most of whom I forget the name of, but I remember this guy right here, man. Altreon Blade Master, just no longer acquirable. Don't really see these champions in game a whole lot because of course they were limited time and exclusive and very, very difficult to sort of get your hands on. Was He-Man also like completely exclusive too? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Not sure if He-Man is even pullable from shards anymore, or if he was just like a super, super limited time thing that you could only get if you paid in the game, you know, so literally expensive in that sense. Now, are these super exclusive champions worth picking up as they become available in the game? Well, given that most of the time you got to spend to get your hands on these, I mean, that's totally up to you, innit? It's your money, man. Let me know down below if I missed any of the most expensive champions in this game in terms of things like legendary books and stuff like that, and whether or not you feel like that champion will be worth actually building out on your account if I happen to miss them in this video. Keep the discussion going down below, man. I'm really interested to see your guys' thoughts and feelings on some of these champions down below, man. Hey, before we get to that, or before I check the comments in this video rather, remember that you can scroll on down and click on the beginner promo link that is down below at the top of the video description box, man, to create your new Raid Shadow Legends account, man, and get off to the best start possible. All kinds of freebies that you see on screen right now off to the side of my face. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Now I'm going to catch all of y'all just a tad bit later, man.